Have you ever felt like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? That feeling of a heavy burden, whether it's financial stress, relationship problems, or just a constant sense of worry. What if I told you there's a way to simply let it go, to cast it off and feel light, free, and ready for miracles? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could change everything. Welcome back to Frequency Chapters. We are continuing our journey into The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. We're diving deep into the transformative wisdom of Chapter 6, Casting the Burden, Impressing the Subconscious. If you've ever felt like your mind is working against you, filled with doubts and fears, this chapter is your key to freedom. Shinn gives us a practical, powerful technique to hand over our problems to a higher power within us, clearing the way for incredible results. So, what is this burden we're all carrying? Florence Scovel Shinn explains that a burden is simply an adverse thought or condition. It's the thought of lack, the feeling of resentment, the fear of sickness. These negative beliefs are lodged deep in our subconscious mind, and trying to argue with them using our logical, conscious mind is often a losing battle. Our intellect is full of doubts and limitations. The secret, she says, is to bypass the doubtful mind and hand the problem over to what she calls the superconscious mind, or the Christ within. This is the all-powerful, all-knowing part of you that operates in a realm of perfection, where problems don't exist. The technique is simple yet profound. Casting the burden. She tells us that when we carry a burden, we're actually violating a spiritual law. The battle isn't ours to fight. Our job is to stand still and let our higher self handle it. So how do we do it? Shinn gives us a magic phrase. I cast this burden on the Christ within, and I go free. You identify the burden, whether it's lack, resentment, fear, or confusion, and you consciously hand it over. Let's look at some real-life examples from the book. There was a woman who was in desperate need of money. Her burden was a constant belief in lack. She began repeating the statement, I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within and I go free to have plenty. What happened? The superconscious mind flooded her subconscious with a new belief. A belief in abundance. The result wasn't just a little bit of money. It was an avalanche of supply. By releasing the problem, she opened the floodgates for her good to come in. One of Florence's students had a very practical problem. She was getting a brand new piano delivered, but she had absolutely no space for it because her old piano was still in her studio. She was getting frantic because the new piano was literally on its way. In her moment of desperation, she remembered the teaching and declared, I cast this burden on the Christ within, and I go free. Just a few moments later, her phone rang. It was a friend asking if she could rent her old piano. The old piano was moved out just minutes before the new one arrived. The timing was perfect. By letting go of the need to figure it all out herself, the perfect solution appeared effortlessly. This technique isn't just for financial or practical problems. It works wonders on emotional burdens too. Shinn talks about a woman whose life was consumed by resentment. It was like a poison, tormenting her soul and keeping her trapped. She began to affirm, I cast this burden of resentment on the Christ within, and I go free, to be loving, harmonious, and happy. By repeating this, her superconscious mind replaced the deep-seated resentment in her subconscious with pure love. Her entire life transformed. She was finally free from the prison of her own negative emotions. Now, Shinn emphasizes that this isn't a one-and-done deal. You have to be persistent. She says you should repeat the statement over and over, sometimes for hours at a time, silently or audibly, with quietness but determination. She compares it to winding up an old record player. You have to wind yourself up with the spoken word. As you do this, something magical happens. The mental fog of doubt and fear begins to lift. Your vision clears. You feel a sense of relief, and then the manifestation follows. But what about that period of darkness that often comes right before a big breakthrough? A student asked Florence about this darkness before the dawn, where everything seems to go wrong. Shinn explains that this is actually a good sign. It means all the old, fearful, negative beliefs from your subconscious are rising to the surface to be cleared out for good. When this happens, instead of despairing, you should celebrate. Give thanks that you are saved, even when it looks like you're surrounded by problems. Her advice on how long you have to stay in the dark is brilliant. Until one can see in the dark. Casting the burden is what allows you to see in the dark. It's the flashlight of faith that guides you through. And speaking of faith, Shinn makes it clear that faith must be active. Faith without works is dead. You have to act as if your prayer is already answered. This is the bridge that takes you to your promised land. She shares a powerful story of a woman who was separated from her husband. He refused to have any contact with her. Instead of accepting this reality, she started living in the reality she wanted. She made a powerful statement. There's no separation in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot be separated from the love and companionship which are mine by divine right. And here's her act of faith. Every single day, she set a place for him at the dinner table. She was impressing her subconscious with the picture of his return. She did this for over a year without wavering. And one day, he just walked in. Her active faith built the bridge for his return. This brings us to the final, crucial point: erasing fear. Fear is the great enemy. Shinn calls it misdirected energy that needs to be transmuted into faith. So how do you get rid of fear? Her answer is simple: by walking up to the thing you are afraid of. If you're afraid of lack, spend money with faith, knowing your supply is infinite. If you're afraid of a person, meet them cheerfully. If you're afraid of germs, be fearless in a germ-laden environment and you will be immune. Fear lowers your vibration to the level of the thing you fear. Faith raises you above it. Every hour, every day, you have a choice: fear or faith. By consistently choosing faith, by casting your burdens, and by acting as if your good is already here, you impress your subconscious mind with a new reality. You begin to see signs of land, little clues that your big demonstration is on its way. You learn to live in a world of the wondrous, where only good is real and miracles are normal. So I invite you to try this. What is the one burden you are carrying right now? Identify it. And for the rest of today, start repeating that powerful phrase: I cast this burden of. Name your burden on the Christ within, and I go free. Wind yourself up with these words of power and watch as your world begins to shift. Thank you so much for joining us for another chapter of this incredible book. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to Frequency Chapters for more life-changing wisdom. You won't want to miss the next Frequency Enhanced Chapter Summary for focus, healing, and abundance. Let me know in the comments what burden you are casting off today. Until next time, go free.